Hey guys, welcome to episode 7. This is Chris Garcia, and I'm Luis, the host. So Chris Garcia has been living in China for the past three years. He was teaching English in Chengdu, China, and then was teaching at EF, and then started teaching at EF's English first, and he started teaching at university. And by that point, it wasn't Chengdu, right? It was somewhere else.
No, it was still in Chengdu.
Oh, it was still in Chengdu? Cool. I thought you went to like a different city. But yeah. And he's currently launched a business, last year, and the screen printing business, t-shirt business. He actually designs the shirt, prints the shirts, does everything from scratch to delivery. So that's awesome. But before we get to that, I want to go back to before you even left China, kind of what led up to that. How was your life before you went to China, and then what led you to China? Out of all places in the world, why did you decide to go to China? And was that like an easy decision for you? And yeah.
So first off, I gotta say, making the decision was kind of easy. China was the first to say yes. So it's like I applied at different places. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. It wasn't until I was working probably 9 to 5 like everybody else. Everybody wakes up, goes to work, and then at this company I was working at, it was a sales company. So I was making cold calls all day.
Oh, okay. How was that?
Yeah. And just like everybody else, or maybe some people like that job. Maybe some people love it. Me, I didn't like it. I couldn't see myself waking up every day, going to a sales job that I knew I didn't love, and doing that for the next 20 to 40 years. I'd probably end myself or something. It was horrible for me.
Yeah.
But I met this girl when I was working there, and she had told me that she had just came back from living in China, and I was like, "Oh, that's nice. What were you doing out there?" She was like, "Oh, I was teaching English." I was like, "Oh, well, what did you do for money?" And she was like, "Well, they paid me to teach English to Chinese people." And I'm like, "That's crazy." Yeah, because before that, I never knew that people ever did that. I didn't know anything. I thought everybody graduated school, got their degree, got a job in what they graduated for, and I thought that was life. But then I met this girl. She gave me a whole new perspective of everything, and from that point on, I was just thinking, like, if she can do it, I can do it. And originally, it started out to be 1 year. I told myself I was going to do it for 1 year,
right,
come back, and then start doing the sales job or whatever else I can find myself doing.
Right. So was it like just like you just wanted to see what it was like to live in China, or just in general, like go somewhere new? Like what's the decision that pushed you to do that? Aside from like, oh, I didn't really like my job, though. Was there more to it?
Well, yes, it was like a little bit of family. It was like I was making good money at the sales company. I could move out of my house if I wanted to.
Right.
But I felt like, I don't know, I had to stay and help my family. Then there was my personal life. I was in a relationship at the time. The relationship was fine, but it was more of my personal issues. I was gaining weight. I wasn't going out as much. I wasn't enjoying life. I went from studying to work. And I just thought to myself, like, there has to be more to life than just working and trying to make a decent amount of money and not be happy. So whenever this opportunity came, I just went for it. I was like, I'm gonna leave everything behind. I'm gonna get on this plane. And at this time, I didn't tell anybody. My girlfriend at the time knew, my family knew, and that was it. I told them I'm leaving. I'll be back in a year or so. And from that point on, I don't regret it. One of the best things I ever did.
Really? And did you know anyone in China, or did you? No, that you just
I didn't know Chinese. I didn't know Chinese people. I didn't know anybody who I'm sure I'm like many people.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to do something, but everybody's, I don't know, either too scared or they don't have the money or they don't want to experience new things. They're too comfortable with their lifestyle.
Right.
And that was the thing. I didn't want to be comfortable. I wanted to break free.
Mm-hmm.
So going out there to China, I went out there with an open mind. I didn't
Right.
really have a culture shock of any sort.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the hard thing about what was that? What did you say was the hardest thing about moving to China?
Hardest thing about moving to China, man, let me see. Opening up.
Oh.
Yeah. Opening up, because I don't think it's just China, but when you travel, you've traveled and you meet all sorts of different people.
Right.
I was used to my friends and my family, and they're really closed off. Some of them are really closed off. They don't open up to you as much. But over there, you just meet all sorts of people. Like you meet people who like to go out every day. You meet people who like to read, run, exercise, try new food. And these are the type of people that I was surrounding myself with. Even the locals. I surrounded myself with locals. They taught me everything that I needed to know. And it was just difficult because I'm used to this stone cold face, like, don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you.
And at this point, had you traveled to other places, like countries?
Countries, no, but states, yeah.
So this was your first time going abroad.
Yeah, and it was my first time out the country alone. Nobody, I don't know anybody.
Okay, and you moved to China, out of all places. Most people start off going to
Probably Mexico,
Latin America, maybe Europe, but not China typically. So that must have took a lot. I mean, it took a lot. I'm sure it took a lot of courage to do that. And so while you were there, you were there teaching English. How was that? Was that easy? Or what did you have to learn to do that?
Think about it as teaching wise. Think of it as like it doesn't matter what age they are. You're talking to them like they're a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that can be. It sounds easy then.
Yeah, it kind of is. You gotta be able to start a conversation and talk slow.
Okay.
And probably not use such big words unless their English is really good. Because when I would teach class, sometimes I would be like, "So, hey, Luis, how are you today? Are you good?"
I am good.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But other than that, it's like I went from there to university. I went from like a training school, which is pretty much like a 9 to 5, but in China. And I went from that to a university, which was much more flexible with the hours. Pay was better, vacation. If anybody is looking to go out there, but doesn't have any training in being an English teacher, I went out there with the mentality. I can't say it. I went out there with the strategy of get my foot in the door with a company that's well known,
right?
And complete the contract, the 1 year, however you do it, however you have it set up, and then from there, if you want to explore into something new, you do it. And so I stepped into EF, did what I had to do. When my contract ended, I went to a university.
And at that point, you knew you had an idea that you might want to stay longer. What did you decide that you were going to stay past the year mark? When did you start to really like China, or what was it that you? What was your reason for staying longer?
One of it was traveling.
Okay.
Because when you're in China, it is easier to travel to other places. You have Vietnam, you have Cambodia, you have Singapore, and you have India on the other side, Japan on one side. You have South Korea, and it's extremely cheap to travel to all these different places. Another thing were the people. because I met a lot of people over there. And from meeting these people, I was able to travel to their home country.
Okay.
Yeah, so I met a girl over there. Her name is Larisha,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like one of my best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I met her. She went home to South Africa
Okay.
because yeah, she's from South Africa, and I went home to America. And the plan was go home, come back to work. I went home. Oh, I came home, and I said, Larisha, I'm pretty bored. I'm gonna go see you.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, she was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I flew over to South Africa, and
Mm-hmm.
then from there, came back to work in China.
And then at this point, this when you renewed your contract, or that's when you like switched over to the university.
Oh, I was in the university at this time, and
Ah, okay. So you
it was just a vacation break.
got it.
Because for foreigners, if you renew the contract, you get paid 12 months. If you
Okay.
don't renew the contract, you only get paid 10 months
Okay. Okay. So I see.
because the contract ends when the school semester ends.
Right.
So
I just feel like the Chinese always have a way to like, I don't know, like there's like it's like a merit based everything.
oh yeah. Oh, don't like if there's anything, you never really have a sick day.
Really?
But yeah, for me, I had to work Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I only had to work 3 days. But if I was sick Wednesday and I felt better on Friday, I had to make up my Wednesday on Friday.
Okay. Okay.
But it also works the same for holidays.
Mm.
So if you have a week holiday,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to make whatever days you have to work,
Mm-hmm.
either Saturday, Sunday, or the Saturday and Sunday before that.
Got it. And when you decided to stay, was it at that point? What did your family say when you said, what, I'm going to stay in China longer?
No, I honestly don't know because it was like,
Or your
when the
friends, what do they
contract,
think?
my parents?
Friends, family, people you knew back in the States that were expecting you to come back.
Nothing.
They're just like.
But that's the thing. It was like.
Was it hard to explain this to them? It was your, I don't know, parents, family members, like, okay, were they cool with it? Like, oh yeah, Chris stayed in the second year, third year,
Yeah, I don't think they really cared after I left.
Okay.
Yeah, like in the beginning, it was probably hard because my family's really close together. So it's like somebody's gone. It's like, okay, I feel their pain,
Right.
But I think after a few months, my mom and dad were just like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm gonna stay another year. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was more my little sisters. My
okay.
sisters, yeah, they're like, at the time, they're like 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was more them.
Yeah. And at this point, you were already used to it. It wasn't that hard to make the decision to stay longer.
Nah. Like once you're there, it's just like, do I really want to go back and get a job doing waking up at 8, maybe 6?
So what made life so interesting in China that you liked so much? What are the differences from the US to and to China? And is it in particular just like Chengdu that you liked a lot?
Well, I stayed in Chengdu because each province has their own their food. They have their own food.
Got it.
And so the place where I stayed was known for the spicy food.
Mm-hmm.
Me being Mexican, I love spicy food.
Right.
So I would stay in Chengdu and travel to other places so I can try their food, see what kind of things they have in their city.
Mm-hmm.
But
so is food one of the reasons that you were there?
Food is.
Lifestyle? Was it like just more like laid back for you? Was it because you were making decent money? You had a lot of time because you said you were working kind of like 9 to 5. So was it still this? What was different about it? Was it just because you were in a different country?
In the beginning, I was working like a 9 to 5. Later on, it was just like if I felt like work, to me, it seemed like if I felt like working, then I would work because I only had to work 3 days. And really, it was more 2.5 days because the third day I would get off during half the day.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's like I had all the free time in the world I wanted. I had people I would go out with. It is more chilled and more laid back. I'm not sure because I've never been to Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been told it's like Mexico because you'll see people walking down the street with beers.
Okay.
You'll see people just being nice,
Mm-hmm.
friendly. Uh, it's a big city,
Mm-hmm.
but
Can you explain how it was living in China and not knowing the language, not having that many friends, how did you communicate with people? How did you get around?
yeah, and
How
yeah,
was that?
in the beginning, I used a Google Translator.
Mm-hmm.
Google Translator was my best friend. Uh, yeah, and then from there, the first thing I learned was food.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned how to say like noodles or like a type of dish. It's like a big old pot that has oil inside.
Yeah.
Uh,
Chili
Over
oil?
here, they call it fondue. It's like the cheese fondue,
Okay.
but over there, it's a oil, a spicy oil.
Mm.
And I would learn how to say these things.
How do you
So when
say
I
that
go to
thing?
the restaurant, I'll just be like "nu ro mian," like
Okay.
beef noodles,
Mm-hmm.
or I'll just say like "huoguo," like I want hot pot. Uh,
Okay.
but after
I'll,
that, I started making more friends with the Chinese, with the students,
mm-hmm.
parents, people I would go out and meet, and they would help me practice my Chinese as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Chinese I was learning is probably Chinese for a child,
Okay.
and the things that they were trying to teach me were kind of like slang.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to teach me the slang of that city's talk.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but
Was it hard to make friends there to get along with people,
oh
the
no, no,
Chinese
no,
people?
no.
No? How was
It is
that? Did they
it's
did
extremely easy.
Yeah. Were you like the only like foreigner like walking around typically?
Oh no, the city I was in was small in the beginning. I would say like when I first got there were a decent amount of foreigners, but then when over the next 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
it was just an expanding city. It went from a city maybe this big, and then they're expanding all the way to the south, and they're just getting more and more foreigners to help teach English, because that's one thing that they do want. They
Keep-
do want a lot of foreigners to help teach English. They don't have enough foreigners to help teach.
Got it. And are most of them just teaching, or are other people doing different things?
Oh no, yeah, no. Yeah, there are a lot of people who are teaching, but they have a lot of people who start their own business,
Mm-hmm.
who help with marketing. Maybe they work for a company here in America and they're doing work overseas.
In Chengdu.
Yeah, but a lot of the people that you meet are probably going to be doing teaching.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And what's one thing or two things that you learned about yourself, or a skill, something that you developed while you were out there in China?
I can survive on my own is one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like.
because
Mm-hmm.
being here, being with my family really close together, I thought I was always going to be dependent on them.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until I left over there, I realized like, even if I don't know the language or I don't know people, I can get these resources to help survive. Yeah. I'll do what I need to do in order to make it. So I started learning Chinese. When I was here in America, I rarely ate fruits or vegetables. Yeah,
Really?
it was, I don't know. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad when I was little, they used to scream at me because I didn't want to eat like strawberries or melons or
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. In China, or not even China, in another country, if you don't know the language, you're screwed.
Right.
Yeah. So it's just like you eat it or you starve. And so that's another thing. I became appreciative of things that I took for granted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, I drove everywhere. Over there, I had to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, I could waste food. Some people eat pizza and they don't eat the crust.
Okay.
Over there, I had to eat. I was eating it.
And you're eating it because why were you eating it?
Well,
because you didn't know how to order something else, or
in the beginning it turned out it was that way. Like,
okay.
I wanted some meat. I wanted to eat meat.
Right.
And I didn't know how to say like, hey, bring me some chicken, bring me some beef. And so I would go and I would point at something. I would just be like, give me that.
Mm-hmm.
And they would bring me something. It'll be a vegetable plate.
You were like,
yeah. So I'm not, there's no real such thing as refunds in China.
right.
You know, it's like, you said you wanted that, so you buy that, and now you have to pay for it. Yeah. And so that's what I had to do. I couldn't return it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to order more food because I didn't want to waste this food that I had there.
Mm-hmm.
And so
it's always like you were forced to eat certain things and to yeah, and I'm sure that's why you became more appreciative.
Yeah. Because
mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's like
so would you say language was like one of the biggest things to overcome?
One of the biggest barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, language. Yeah. Another thing is just hygiene.
Hygiene. Can you elaborate on that? Like,
I wouldn't. How do I say this? The older generation, not the newer generation, because the newer generation is starting to become more. They're starting to accept the Western culture.
Mm-hmm.
And they listen to rap. They like tattoos. They like going out and doing things that Western
really
people like. Oh yeah, but it's more of the older generation. I don't know how this came about, but like when the older generation, when they cough,
mm-hmm.
They don't cover their mouth, or when they sneeze, they don't cover their mouth. And,
okay.
Yeah, and for me, it was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But I spoke to the younger people, my students, and I was thinking like, is this something that's been going on forever? Is like, they said it did, or it is something that's going on, but
mm-hmm.
like their parents taught them, cover your mouth,
mm-hmm.
do this, or do that, wash your hands, keep something with you so you can dry your hands. So that's one thing that was a learning curve for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The hygiene.
Yeah.
I would have even thought about that. That's something that I guess. I mean, what you're explaining, you're like, what? Why doesn't he just cover his mouth? You know,
yeah.
it makes it's like sounds like common sense, but I guess it's not
for
like
us,
that.
It's not.
Yeah.
It seems like common sense, but on the other side of the world, it never been taught that, so they wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that I thought was weird is like in some African countries, they eat the
mm-hmm.
like curry, like chicken curry.
Right.
They eat the curry with their hands, only the right hand.
Okay.
Yeah, because left hand is for wiping yourself.
Okay, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
And it just things like this is like, where's your silverware?
Right. And did you meet? You're saying this because you met some Africans in China? Because I
no,
know.
Yeah, there's a huge population of Africans in China.
Yeah, because I've just from the research that I've done, I know that there's been a bunch of Africans that have moved to China and just started to live there, and I was like, well, I was kind of mind blown. And actually, I found some of them because I was looking through Snapchat. You know, you can look at the map filters. I was clicking on some of the cities, you know, because I was interested in China and going there, and I would start seeing a bunch of black people on all the Snapchat stories. So I'm like, dude, where are the Chinese people? But I guess that makes sense. You know, the Africans probably use Snapchat more than the Chinese, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, but there are a lot of people, a lot of Africans in China. But they have like this, I don't know, China and Africa have this kind of this deal going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think because China's doing a lot of work in Africa. So a lot of Africans go to China on this scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And they can go get a degree, do whatever they want to do. But I think it's a requirement. I'm not 100% sure. But when they go, they have to learn Chinese. And so you have a lot of Africans over there that are getting their degree, their bachelor's, their master's, and they also they can speak really good Chinese.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question. What is the most exciting thing about living in China?
Most exciting? Oh, compared to America, it's like you're free.
Free? You
Yeah,
know, that's funny because you're talking about China, and a lot of you would think that
yeah,
you're
I
not
know, I
so
know.
free, right?
But here's the thing: it's like as in foreigners, we can away with a lot more, get away with things compared to a Chinese person.
Okay. Okay. So you're speaking more from a foreign perspective.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because we maybe we say something bad about the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really will happen to us.
Like, and by saying, you mean like out and about public, or like through like WeChat, or what do you mean?
Well,
And
probably
for
both. Probably
okay,
both.
okay,
It depends on the level at what you speak.
mm,
Uh, because I had friends who were visited by the police.
mm-hmm.
I don't know what reason. I don't know what they did or uh, what they were doing, but they were visited.
Okay,
Uh, but if a Chinese person does it, they'll probably be taken to jail.
okay,
Yeah. So for us, it's like in America, if you want to drink, you got to go to the bar.
mm-hmm.
If you want to drink in China, you can go to the bar, take your liquor, take your beer, walk down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you want to, you can be drunk walking. You can go out, stay out all night. There are some people who go out every day,
Okay,
almost every day.
really.
Yeah, they'll be like, let's go out. Let's go out today. It's Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Yeah, we have work tomorrow. You're like, yeah, it's okay.
Mm,
Yeah, so just think of it like it's free
it's a
because
different
one,
lifestyle.
we don't have the responsibilities as we would as a regular American citizen.
Mm-hmm.
We have the car that we can drive anywhere we want to, but with the car, you got gas, you got insurance, you have tires, you have maintenance, you have
Mm,
all these different variables that go into you wanting to have fun.
got it.
But if you're in China, you're like, hey, let's go to two cities, two provinces away.
Mm-hmm.
And all you got to do is get on the train and get off, take a taxi, go to your hotel. That's it.
And is it cheap?
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
would say
Okay,
yes.
okay. So I guess that's what helps with being able to do all that, and not having a car and all these costs that you wouldn't be living back in the States, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Got it. Man, I feel I can relate to that in like other countries that I've been to for long periods of time. It's well, the cheaper ones, obviously not like Europe and things like that. But yeah, I understand what you mean by that sense of freedom, where you feel like you can just hop in an Uber, hop in a train, hop in a plane, $40, pay this,
Mm-hmm.
next thing you know, you're on the beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
and I'm
done
sure
that
you,
before.
yeah,
Me and
like
my in China, you're not allowed to watch like extremely bloody movies like Deadpool.
you can't watch that.
You can't watch Deadpool
So where did you
uh,
watch it?
in Hong Kong. Hong
So,
Kong and China, they say they're one, but they have different rules. So
okay. So you went from Chengdu to Hong Kong to watch Deadpool.
yeah, and it was just I have another guy,
Mhm.
also like one of my best friends, Larisha and Alex lives in a different city,
Right.
but I would either go visit him or he would come visit me,
Hmm.
and sometimes we just call each other. So he called me. He was like, "Hey, Deadpool's coming out." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's not coming out over here though." He's like, "In Hong Kong it is," and I was like, "No, no, wait, it was Macau."
Okay.
Macau. And he was like, "It's coming out in Macau." And I'm like, "So what do you think?" He's like, "I'm booking my ticket." I'm like, "I'm booking my ticket too." And then from there, it was we flew to Macau,
Hmm.
watched Deadpool and another movie because they didn't have it in China.
Okay.
And Macau is also known for its gambling.
Okay. So you
So
saw a movie and had some fun.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So it was we flew to Macau, watched a couple movies, went to the casinos to gamble, lost a lot of money.
Okay.
And then from there you can take a boat. It's a 1 hour boat trip, and then you can take
Hmm.
the boat from Macau to Hong Kong.
Okay.
And so after we did our little adventures in Macau, we went back to Hong Kong. And then from Hong Kong, we would travel around, go see all the little tourist adventures, sites or
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Like Victoria Peak and all that.
Yeah. So we actually did this like 2-3 times, I believe.
That little route.
Yeah.
Watch movie, gamble, the ferry to Hong Kong, hang out.
Yeah. But
That's
the thing is,
awesome.
some places, some casinos in Macau, they offer free drinks.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
So
that's
we would
free.
go, spend the money, drink, go back on the boat, travel around Hong Kong, and then from there we'd cross the border back into China,
Shenzhen.
and then from Shenzhen to Guangzhou, it's only like a 30-minute ride, depending on what train you get, what kind of high-speed train you get.
Yeah.
And so we would go from Shenzhen to Guangzhou, go see friends, go eat, because those two places are really known for their seafood.
Right.
Yeah.
Seafood and Cantonese food, right? It's like what
yeah.
most people know as Chinese food, actually. The dumplings.
Over here.
Yeah, over here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, this sounds awesome. Sounds like a lot of fun experiences. And if you know what, if someone's watching this, they want to do that. They want to teach English. You know what how do they get started? Where do they look? You know, how can they do what you do, or did?
The way I would do it is, if you want to do the same route as I did, and you don't really know where to start, look up English training schools. They have plenty of them. They have, I know, EF. They have I2.
English first, right?
English first, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the time, you can just type in EF training school,
okay,
and it'll pop up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the schools, no matter which one you choose, they have two levels. They have kids and they have adults.
Mm-hmm.
If you teach kids, they're going to pay you more, but you have to entertain them in a way. So it's a lot of people, like if you look inside the classroom, you'll see a lot of people like raising their hands, singing like kid songs. For me, I couldn't do it.
Right. You need more energy.
Yeah. I tried it I tried to teach kids a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was so hard for me because my voice was going out. I couldn't. Kids were crying, poking their nose, and I was just like, oh my God.
I can't do this.
Yeah. So, I mean, really, it's whatever you prefer. If you like kids, go with kids. They'll pay you more. If you like adults, it's something more calm. You can have conversations. Go with adults. Okay. From there, it's just a matter of what you want to do. I've had friends who did the same thing I did. They started in training school, went to a university. I had friends who started in the training school, met people, and rich people or people who had business ideas, and they started their own business
in China.
Like
what kind of businesses?
I had a friend who started a kickboxing class.
Really?
Yeah, because he had ideas and the guys had money. The Chinese investors had money, and so they just got together, made a plan, made it happen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so, you just being out there networking with these kind of people is is important.
It's like I was taking what I wanted to do here and what I was enjoying out there. Because before I left, I wanted to start my own business. What I wanted to do, I didn't know. So I went out there. While I was out there, I was looking for people. I was meeting people, seeing how things would go, trying to figure out if it is okay for me to do it, if it's not okay for me to do it. And I met some people, and I actually came back so I can start my own business in China. I just needed to change my paperwork. So what happened was, at the last minute, they decided they didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah. So I was going to start a cafe/bakery in China. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. So I came back. I've been here for maybe like 6 months, maybe 7. And I've just been going from there. But I do plan on going back to do what? I'm not sure.
But
Maybe I'll start teaching again.
mhm. But for now, like, actually, you started a new business, right? Stoked
Yeah,
LLC in
stocked.
Stock. Sorry,
Yeah.
Stocked LLC doing Stoked. That's a completely different word. Stocked LLC, where the t-shirt printing business. What
Mhm.
how's that been?
No, actually, that's been going really good. Uh,
Hmm.
it's only just me and my brother, really.
Hmm.
But for us, it's just like it keeps us busy enough to where like we're not struggling
Hmm.
to find people, or we're not looking for more money in a way. Uh, can it be bigger? Yeah.
Right.
But right now it's at a level where it's stable.
So it was just like steadily growing.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But the thing for me is like I started this just so I can stay busy
Hmm. Yeah,
because
because the original plan was to go back to China, right?
yeah.
Hmm.
And I do plan on going back, but later in the year I want to save up some money. Uh, I want to just invest in something that I know is going to give me a good return.
Hmm.
Maybe this will give me a good return, maybe it won't, but I won't know unless I try it.
Right. I mean, that's good that you're just trying it and keeping busy and learning. I'm sure you're learning a lot of things just about
Oh yeah,
business and how.
every day, man.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that's one thing I have to say is like if you're not willing to go out there and uh, how do I say experiment on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't know if really going out there to China is something good for you, because I was willing to push myself
Mm-hmm.
in ways that I know my brother, my sister, or my friends weren't willing to do.
Oh yeah. I
And
mean,
so, huh?
yeah, definitely. I mean, so I feel like there's so many people that just kind of just I don't know, accept the life that they have, and they may have these dreams or ideas, hey, I could do that, or maybe there's probably some people watching this are like, I wish I could do what Chris did, but they're just kind of scared,
Yeah,
and they'll never know what it's like unless they do it. And
yeah,
you came on the other side, you learned a lot about yourself, you've grown as a person, you've seen new things, new places, tasted new food. I just experienced so much within such a short time, and I think people should go for it, do what they want to do.
hmm yeah. Because honestly, it's like I went out there. I've been out there 3 years, and then I was going to start this business with some Chinese investors. And then I look back and I think like, man, I wasted 3 years when I could have done this probably 6 months when I got into China. But if for most people, it's like, no, it's not reality. You had to take those 3 years to get to where you want to be now.
Hmm.
And even like the mistake that I made, or not really a mistake, I don't know what you would call it, me putting my faith into these people, but nothing happened.
Hmm.
Life, call it life. Yeah, it happens, but you
Right.
never know unless you go out there.
Right.
I don't know. I want to cuss on
Yeah,
here.
you
No,
can. You
no,
can do.
no.
Yeah, you can. You can.
but yeah, because like I watch a lot of videos, kind of like what you're doing,
Hmm.
and I've seen other videos and stuff like that, but from like the millionaires, and they're like, what are you scared of? Stop trying to impress people. You need to impress yourself. You need to go out there and find out who you are
Hmm.
and make yourself grow as a person. And probably like I was 20, I would be like, yeah, whatever. I hear that all the time. But in a way, it's true.
Yeah.
You got to stop trying to impress people and find out what works for you. If you don't, then you'll probably have a 9 to 5 job. If you like that, good for you. If you don't, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I completely agree with that, man. And yeah, so there's always going to be people that are coming up with excuses, that are scared, that are always trying to impress people. But the thing that drove me, to do everything that I've done to up to this point was literally just the fear of regret, the fear of not knowing what could have happened. So I feel like maybe I'm sure that's the reason that kind of drove you to go to China to do all these things was not knowing what could have happened. And I feel like a lot of people live with these regrets, and I'm just not willing to live with them. I need to know what could have been, even if it's a failure, or even like with the investors that pulled out, then, at least you tried, at least you were giving it your all, and then didn't work out, but you learn from it, and then just keep moving on. Right? And yeah. So before we get to the final question, what is I guess from everything you've taken in from living abroad and particular China, what is one thing that I guess what is one of the best memories you have about being in China?
One of the best memories I have, standing on top of a mountain and just looking, because I went to Xi'an, and then from Xi'an you take a train to Huashan. It's I'm not exactly sure what the meaning is, but it has this mountain, and it takes like I guess it depends on how fast you are, anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours. During the day, it took me 4 because it was like beaming sun. It took me 2 hours at nighttime. And it's like maybe like a 5K mountain hike. It's a pretty crazy one. Starts like this, goes up, all the way like this, back down, back up. Yeah. And like there's some places where you have to grab the chain, and you have to they have like little indents in the mountain. You have to put your foot, you have to climb up the mountain.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And
sounds
you
a little
climb.
dangerous.
It's life. It's life. You just got to do it.
Right.
And then I got to the top of the mountain, and I was just waiting for the sun to come up. Many people don't appreciate things like that. After you spend all night climbing the mountain, and you get to the top, and you see the sun come up, and you just see like everything. You have the sky, you have the mountains, you have birds flying, you have little rivers flowing down. It's just something to appreciate. But many people don't do that because they I don't know what. Maybe they work too much. Maybe they just don't know how to enjoy life. They're scared of heights or something like that.
Right.
Not really sure what it is, but
or maybe they just don't even know that they like it. They never tried it.
That's one thing. That's probably another thing.
You don't know what you like if you don't try it.
Yeah, I didn't know I like climbing mountains until I went over there.
Really?
China, yeah. And now, being in China, I would climb mountains all the time. I would go hiking with some friends. I would go hiking alone.
That's awesome.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Okay. No, man, don't do that. Don't climb because you could fall off.
Yeah.
Or get
hiking
lost.
alone is dangerous.
Well, yeah, it depends. I guess it sounds like you went to huge amounts in China. Probably not that many people. But yeah, man. So now, man, where can people find you if they want to contact you, if they want to reach out to you, learn more about how you, about teaching English in China, or they just think you're cool, want to hang out with you. Also, and also your business. What's the name of the business? Where can they find the business? Where can they reach out to you if they want to get some shirts or something custom made?
I don't know if you put like the screen. I don't know if you put stuff on the video or something. I don't know how you do it. But if you want to find me, let me see.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the description as well, on the YouTube description. Could put your handle on the video as well, like your personal one or the business one.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, yeah. My personal, I have Facebook, but I barely get on Facebook. I have Instagram, which I use more, and my handle name is Toph, TOPH _ Garcia, GARCIA. And then let me see. If you want to reach me for any type of personal business, or you want custom shirts or something like that, check out my Instagram as well. Everything I do is mainly on Instagram.
Yeah, what's the name of that Instagram?
It's stocked, STOCKED _ LLC. And then you can see some of the stuff I've done on there if you check it out. But yeah, if you do have any questions, feel free, reach out to me on Instagram. I post pictures that I took over there in China. Some of them. some of them I have borrowed. I'm not gonna lie, but
Okay.
yeah,
Hey, you borrowed, man. At least
yeah.
yeah.
I won't take full credit for everything, but if you have any questions, you want to know what it's like, how to get out there. If you need to talk to somebody, I can probably put you in the right direction. Or if you just want to hear more about the story, feel free to just reach out to me whenever.
Got it. Awesome. Well, that's the last question, man. What's the funniest thing that happened to you in China?
Funniest thing? Funniest thing. I don't know.
I guess funny / embarrassing.
Oh, okay. When I first went, because I wasn't a teacher. I've never taught anything in my life. And when I first went, I had a class maybe like 30, 40 people. And I was just like, okay, everybody. So, and the students are like, hey, relax. We get it. You're new. Yeah. And I was just like, okay, give me a second. Man, is it hot in here? And they're like, no, it's not hot. Can you just do something? I'm like, yeah. But I think everybody goes through that at some point.
Right.
Yeah. So that's probably one of the most embarrassing things that happened to me.
Man, I can imagine, man. I can't imagine being in front of a bunch of Chinese people and they're just waiting for you to teach English and you've never taught English before.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, it happened for, I'd say, less than a week. After that, I was good.
After that, you were like, what's up, guys?
Yeah. After that, I was just like...
teaching them slang in English.
Yeah, I actually did that. I was like, a lot of... depends on where you're at. Some people say, what's up? And then some people say sup. You know, it's just the way it was wherever you're at. You know, New York talks different from Georgia. Georgia talks different from California.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that has to be one of the most embarrassing things.
Awesome. Well, man, thanks for being on the show. And if you guys are watching this, make sure you give a video a like. If you like it, share it with someone that you think this may be of value to. And or if you know someone that wants to need some shirts, custom shirts, also share this video. Share the link to Chris's Instagram account, and I'm sure he's gonna be happy to hear from you. And if you also want to reach out to me, I'm here. You can reach out to me on my Instagram, YouTube channel, comments. Yeah, thanks for watching. And also again, thanks for being on the show.